So occasionally I like to visit people's profiles that follow me or favorite my videos, and I've come across a handful that voted for Trump. Let me be clear. You're not welcome here. You voted for Hitler. You get to live in the mess he made. I made this page for people that you voted against to find a safe place to call home. Not for you to figure out how to work abroad or have an extended vacation. No, we want to escape. Furthermore, other countries do not want Trump supporters. You're not welcome there. The rest of the world watches in disbelief as his cult cheers on his extremism, and they want no part of it. It's actually really embarrassing how much the other countries mock us because of him. You think the world, billions of people, are wrong, and you and your cult of 70,000 other followers are enlightened? Bitch, please. So once again, do not follow me if you voted for Trump. You're not welcome here, or anywhere else in the world.
So MAGA is out here discovering that Europe doesn't actually want them, and the world is watching with popcorn. A German white nationalist is claiming asylum in America while actual refugees get deported. MAGA tourists are crying in Irish pubs because someone asked who they voted for. And Elon Musk is trying to export his whole MAGA movement across the Atlantic while European leaders are basically slamming the door in his face. Welcome back to Mind Mirror. Let's get into it.
Get ready to be thoroughly disgusted. This white MAGA supporter is set to receive asylum from Germany. Yeah, Germany, you heard that right, to the United States.
Okay, she's heated, and honestly, she's not entirely wrong. The rest of the world has been watching in real time as MAGA cheered on policies that affect billions of people who never got a vote, and now some of those same people want to flee to Europe for an extended vacation. Like none of that happened. SIS, the audacity is astronomical. Other countries aren't obligated to be your escape hatch after you helped burn the house down. And the part about the world mocking America because of Trump is not exaggeration. It's documented, late-night shows across Europe, newspaper front pages, viral memes, it's all there. You can't represent something globally and then act surprised when the globe responds.
Naomi Zeibt, and I am the first European to seek asylum in the United States of America under President Trump's new proposal for a refugee mandate, because I am facing persecution in my home country, Germany.
Zeibt just traveled from Germany to meet with Republican Rep. Anna Paulina Luna to help her with her claim. Note that Germany is ranked in the top 5 when it comes to democracy. The United States is ranked 29th. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is sending Western Africans back to Africa where they face political persecution and torture. Oh, and Zeibt...
Bro, this is the karma episode nobody saw coming. Trump spent months attacking NATO, slapping tariffs on allies, calling European leaders weak, basically torching every relationship America had. And now he needs ships in the Strait of Hormuz, and everybody's like... Nah, Germany said no, UK said no, France said no, Japan said no, Australia said no. You can't bully your friends all year and then call them up when you need a favor. That's not how alliances work. That's not even how friendship works. This is Geopolitics 101. And the MAGA crowd somehow missed the whole chapter. You reap what you sow, and right now, America is reaping a field of nothing.
Is also a white nationalist who shared QAnon conspiracy theories as well as Pizzagate theories.
You all seen the MAGA woman crying in Northern Ireland because somebody asked her who she voted for. It made her uncomfortable. How can that question make you uncomfortable?
Okay, wait, let me get this straight. A white nationalist from Germany, one of the top 5 democracies on the planet, is claiming asylum in the United States, while the Trump administration is shipping actual refugees back to countries where they face torture. The irony here is so thick you could slice it with a knife. And then we've got the MAGA woman crying in Northern Ireland because someone asked who she voted for, BRO. If the question makes you cry, maybe that's your conscience talking. You don't get to cheer on policies that affect the entire world and then act shocked when the world has opinions about it. Europe ain't your safe space, man. Stay home.
If reality makes you uncomfortable, maybe just stay in the US.
Okay, one thing that might have gotten swept under the rug during this whole TikTok ban fiasco is how Elon Musk is trying to bring MAGA to Europe. Take a look at what Elon recently posted. He says, "From MAGA to mega, make Europe great again." This is extremely concerning and comes just days and weeks as Elon Musk has tried to influence political outcomes in Germany as well as the UK. Really buying out the presidency in the United States wasn't enough power for Elon. He feels as though in order to accomplish his goals, he needs to have a say in what all world leaders do. And that's why Elon Musk seems so intent on creating a MAGA movement in Europe. I, for one, hope Europe is much smarter than the US and they absolutely reject Elon Musk coming in and infiltrating their political system just because Elon Musk thinks he knows what's best for the world and for European countries. This is another reason why I'm off X, but I'm active on Blue Sky Social, so follow me there, link in my bio.
The response Japan gave was, we think that the efforts to escort ships face high hurdles. In other words, no thanks. And then Luxembourg's Deputy Prime Minister, Javier Bettel, said his country would not give in to blackmail from the US to join the war. For us, I think we're hearing something which is the beginning of Europe turning its back, actually, or finding its backbone, not on America, but on Trump's demands, on this incarnation of America.
In this instance with him and Keir Starmer, I have this, I can't get away from it in my head, this vision of a very badly behaved boyfriend, Trump, who's coming back to the ex-partner or the temporarily ex-partner saying, I think I want you back.
You say it's a badly behaved boyfriend. I think it's an abusive relationship, frankly,
it's worse,
right? Because each time he tries to threaten, and then he cajoles, and then he offers you something, and then he retracts it.
And then he abuses you again.
We have some big news right now. More countries are coming out and saying we're not going to help the United States of America in the Strait of Hormuz in Iran. Germany's defense minister has now just come out and essentially said, it's not our war to fight. We didn't start this war. We're not going to go into it. A number of European frigates are not going to help anyone when the powerful U.S. Navy can do it, essentially. That's what he said. So we're in a situation now where Germany, the UK, Australia, France, and Japan have all said they're not sending ships to the Strait of Hormuz. Donald Trump is threatening NATO with a very bad time because they're just not fighting America's war for it. And I guess my thing is that Donald Trump has spent the past year, right, attacking America's allies, attacking European partnerships, alienating America on the world stage, attacking NATO, attacking Ukraine, all this stuff. And now when America needs our allies to come in and help, they're saying, no, you just spent the past many months putting tariffs on us, attacking us, isolating yourself. So why would we help you? It's a pretty stunning moment. And it's not a surprising one either. Spread the word, follow for more.
The EU is currently telling their residents that they need to start to stockpile at least 72 hours worth of food and water for themselves and their families because of the tensions that are currently going on within Europe and Russia. This is all because of Trump. All of the tensions have been caused by our president, and all of our MAGA said that Kamala would be the one to start World War III.
So occasionally I like to visit people's profiles that follow me or favorite my videos, and I've come across a handful that voted for Trump. Let me be clear. You're not welcome here. You voted for Hitler. You get to live in the mess he made. I made this page for people that you voted against to find a safe place to call home. Not for you to figure out how to work abroad or have an extended vacation. No, we want to escape. Furthermore, other countries do not want Trump supporters. You're not welcome there. The rest of the world watches in disbelief as his cult cheers on his extremism, and they want no part of it. It's actually really embarrassing how much the other countries mock us because of him. You think the world, billions of people, are wrong, and you and your cult of 70,000 other followers are enlightened? Bitch, please. So once again, do not follow me if you voted for Trump. You're not welcome here, or anywhere else in the world.
The whole of Europe is being dragged down to the standard of third world countries in a lot of places because there are so many of these people. Look at all these people. Where are the Italians? This is Italy, the capital of Italy in Rome. Do you see one Italian? I'm the most Italian person here, and I don't even speak it. It's pretty wild. None of them speak Italian, and I think it's all fine and dandy if you come to work and everything, but there should be limits to it, man. Like, show me one European person. Show me one Italian person. The culture is completely getting destroyed. and absorbed to this mass immigration. And I love immigrants, to be honest with you. I think immigrants are very good, usually hardworking, but there should be limits. Don't you think there should be limits? And if you import the third world, you become the third world, unfortunately. And a lot of people in Europe don't realize this. It's good to be accepting, but if you accept too much, you're going to be trampled over. And history shows that time and time again. People get trampled on, and then they're not accepting, and then they become accepting, and then they get trampled on again. It's a very vicious circle. So it's good to be accepting, but to a certain point, and say, hey, enough is enough. There's too many. Let's let fewer in. I think that's the solution. What do you guys think?
There was a huge election in Germany today. The AfD party, which is the MAGA of Germany, was able to double its support to about 20%. But here's the problem. The establishment party, the CDU, got more than that. Now, the AfD doubled their support in this election, which is historic. They've only been around for 11 years. And here's the thing. If you look at the migrant population in Germany, it directly correlates with the amount of people who voted for the CDU. And if you look at where the migrants are not, it directly correlates who voted for the AfD. It's the same exact thing that happens in the United States, where you have the migrants, you have the Democratic left-leaning votes.
So they don't want tourists in Barcelona, and they splash water on them. It's not nice. Just come to south of France. The food is better, we are nicer, and we're gonna welcome you, you know? We also, like them, gonna make you wet, but for different reasons.
Not the doula logging in to defend masculinity. So last week I posted this video about a shop window in Ireland that was full of anti-Trump memes and quotes. And Jen here, well, she got really offended. That's okay, Americans are laughing at Europe too, and your girly men. And yes, this was from her public-facing doula account, because nothing.
So this woman, a doula of all things, saw anti-Trump shop windows in Ireland and responded with, "Girly men, ma'am, your entire job is to be calm, emotionally supportive, and present for people during one of the most vulnerable moments of their lives. And you're out here on your public professional account being overtly sexist about European men. The lack of self-awareness is genuinely impressive, and here's the thing about the shop windows in Ireland. Nobody put anti-MAGA stuff there by accident. That's a community expressing how they feel about policies affecting their daily lives. Calling them girly men doesn't debunk the tariffs. It doesn't fix the trade disruptions. It just proves you can't handle criticism from people who have every right to have an opinion."
Nothing says trusted birth professional like being overtly sexist online. But tell me, Jenny, what European politicians are being mocked in shop windows across the US? Or anywhere, really? And also, what exactly is your standard for masculinity? Is it this? Or maybe this? Or you must be referring to this. And if by girly, are you referring to somebody who's calm, supportive, emotionally stable? Because that's kind of the whole job of a doula, isn't it? Teaching partners exactly that? Might be time for a career pivot, Jen. And maybe a passport.
You gotta keep your ears open before you try to do a little snatchy snatch. Make sure the accent is right. Because if they sound like me, I've been to Europe plenty. Never been pickpocketed. I've been drunk in Europe plenty. Generally do come home with all my things, but I'd like to think I'd also defend myself and my passport vigorously.
This woman is making such a sharp point, and I need people to actually sit with it. When you travel abroad as an American right now, you are walking into rooms full of people who are living with the consequences of an election they had zero say in, tariffs hitting their businesses, oil prices spiking, flight routes disrupted over Iran, the chaos in Ukraine. These are not abstract political talking points. These are people's actual lives. So when an Irish local in a pub asks who you voted for, that's not rudeness. That's a human being looking at someone connected to decisions that directly hurt them. And you want to say you're on vacation and don't want to discuss it? That's a level of privilege that the rest of the world cannot afford. The era of Americans traveling abroad and being totally insulated from their politics is over.
I think they should start peppering in some PSAs in their media, maybe starting like spring, April, May, like, listen for an American accent before you try to steal anything, because they will beat your ass, little girl.
Look, I know this is going to be buried underneath all of this. Everybody has seen it. It's already over there. I'm just a drop in the ocean right now, but I need to speak something right that nobody else has really come to think about on this situation. The liberals might have just taken the old Japanese term, the mouse that roared. Because unlike what a lot of people believe on the left side, the left is a minority. The silent majority is the Republicans. And let me tell you, we have been being pushed, we have been pushed, and we've been pushed. And I feel like this might have just set a wave that the liberals are not ready for. I am half expecting to see a lot more American flags being flown, because I think the liberals have pushed something too far, and the Republicans are pissed. And it's sad that a man had to die because of it.
This is huge breaking news coming in. The United States is being shut out of European airspace, and this could signal a major fracture between allies. France said no. Italy said no. Spain said no. Switzerland said no. In less than 48 hours, 4 key Western nations have reportedly refused to allow U.S. military aircraft to pass through their skies. This is not a small disagreement. This is something much bigger. Because
Okay, this is actually massive, and people are sleeping on it. France, Italy, Spain, Switzerland, all refusing U.S. military aircraft through their airspace. These are NATO allies, countries that signed treaties and fought wars alongside America. And they're saying, not this time, and why? Because the U.S. escalated with Iran without proper consultation, just unilaterally decided to move, and Trump's response is to threaten to pull out of NATO entirely. That's like setting your house on fire and being mad the neighbors won't lend you their hose. The MAGA crowd built this reality, and the consequences are now showing up in real time at a geopolitical scale that should terrify everyone.
these are NATO allies. Countries that have fought side by side with the U.S. for decades are now stepping back at a critical moment. And according to reports, this decision wasn't random. It came after concerns that the U.S. acted without proper consultation before escalating tensions with Iran. Donald Trump has responded aggressively, criticizing these nations and even raising the possibility of distancing the U.S. from NATO entirely. Meanwhile, officials like Marco Rubio are questioning the alliance itself, asking what it means if the U.S. cannot rely on European bases when it needs them most. But here's what makes this even more serious. Reports suggest some of these countries are not only denying airspace, but also restricting military equipment linked to the conflict. That means this is no longer just political tension, it's operational resistance. And now the real question is, are we witnessing a temporary dispute or the beginning of a collapse in one of the most important alliances in modern history? More updates are coming.
That thing about the American woman who came to a pub in Cushendall and was met with hostility when she refused to discuss who she voted for in the American election, I find it really interesting. Because that woman and a lot of Americans, I think, have this idea that they're entitled to travel and not be met with these political discussions because they're irrelevant or it's rude to discuss them. But what they don't appreciate is that people in Europe, people in Ireland, for instance, have to deal with the direct consequences of the American election, but they don't get a vote. So when you travel outside your borders, you go to a place like Ireland and you meet people who didn't have a say, but are having to deal with the consequences of things like tariffs, things like Palestine, the Russia-Ukraine war, and sort of oil prices because of Iran, and even not being able to fly across the Middle East currently. All of these chaotic things that could have been avoided. I think we're going to see it more and more, that American tourists, when they travel outside of the US, are going to have to reckon with it a lot more than they used to, because the politics really affect everyone, not just them, and they're kind of going to be held to account a bit.
Accused of being a bad person because you're from the United States.
An American woman says she left a bar in Northern Ireland feeling unwelcome and emotional after a political conversation with locals quickly turned tense, sparking a heated debate online about politics, travel, and accountability. The woman, who was visiting the region with her husband, shared that the uncomfortable moment happened shortly after they walked into a local pub. She explained that shortly after they sat down, a man in the bar began discussing the state of the world and asked a pointed question about who was responsible for many of the current global issues. Flessed day when the man asked if they were American. When she confirmed they were from the United States, the next question came almost immediately. Who did they vote for? The woman said she was caught off guard by how direct the question was. Rather than engage in political debate, she told the group that she and her husband were on vacation and hoping to take a break from those types of conversations. She explained that while she didn't mind friendly discussion, other people in the pub kept talking about global issues, U.S. leadership, and the effects American politics can have internationally. Even if the comments weren't always directed straight at her or her husband, she said the tone of the conversation made her feel increasingly uneasy.
So here's what we just watched. A German white nationalist claiming American asylum, NATO allies slamming their airspace shut, MAGA tourists getting roasted in Irish pubs, Scotland catching Trump cheating at his own golf course, and two Americans screaming down a residential street at 3 a.m. like they own the planet. The pattern is clear. The world is done being polite about it, and the consequences of these choices are showing up everywhere now, not just at home, but at every border, every pub, every airspace negotiation on the planet. So here's my question for you. Do you think American tourists are going to start feeling real consequences abroad? Or do you think this blows over? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this hit different today, like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back with more.